Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring Magi-Knights Awakening the Core Rulebook. If you haven't seen part 1 of my review, featuring this Dungeons & Dragons 5e powered role-playing game, where you play as sentai-style heroes and magical girls that fight Lovecraftian horrors in an academy setting, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about character creation. I really like the character creation system because it feels as if you are part of a squadron of a team from the very start. There are 11 steps to character creation, and we are going to take a look at each of those steps in detail. We begin, of course, with step 1, the easiest step. Consider your Magi-Knights beginning. What brought you to Lapis City? How did the Herald recruit you? How long have you been a Magi-Knight? Remember that you're only level 1, so your history should be brief and your knowledge relatively limited. What school are you attending and how old are you? It is highly recommended that the entire squadron attends the same school. And then we have the next step, observing fate's influence. This is a bit more involved but also quite fun. First, you need to consider the fate die. The magic keeper rolls 1d4 in secret and keeps the result hidden. This is the fate die. Then you must observe fate together. Gather 5 4-sided dice and distribute them as evenly as possible amongst the squadron. All players will now roll their d4s. Now the choice. Starting with the player who had the most recent birthday and then going clockwise among the squadron on successive rolls, that player must choose to either deny fate or accept fate. Denying fate rejects the fate die from influencing the squadron's roll, while accepting fate leads to the magic keeper revealing the fate die to the players and allowing it to influence the roll. The squadron may discuss as a team which choice may be favorable, but the individual whose turn it is has the final choice and must make the decision on the squadron's behalf. When it comes to denying fate, if the player chooses to deny fate, the magic keeper reveals and then removes the fate die from play with no effect. Next, remove the lowest d4 from the player's dice pool and reduce the highest die by 1. You add up the remaining 4 d4s together and write down the number. You have generated 1 character statistic. When it comes to accepting fate, if the player chooses to accept fate, the magic keeper reveals the fate die. The number revealed is blocked by fate. All d4s that match that number must be re-rolled by their respective player. However, if the new roll matches the blocked by fate number again, the die is reduced by 1, so that it doesn't match. If 1 is the number blocked by fate, and a 1 is rolled again, remove the die from the dice pool. Add up the d4s and write down the number. You have generated 1 character statistic. There is also fate's surprise. If players choose to accept fate, but no dice were blocked by fate, then all dice change to match the number revealed by the fate die. Next comes totaling your dice. While adding up your totals, if the total is lower than 6, it immediately becomes 6. If the total is above 16, it immediately becomes 16. Next, continue to observe. If you do not have 6 numbers, return to step 1 of this particular process. If you have created 6 numbers, proceed to step 6. These 6 numbers will be the statistics for all members of the squadron to use during their character creation. Next, you analyze results. This is step 6 of this process. If the total of all 6 statistics is lower than 73, the squadron may opt to either keep their stats or to gaze upon the Herald's constellation and receive those numbers for their statistics instead. Next comes modifying the total. Each player may choose to reduce 1 statistic by 2 and add those 2 points to another statistic. This may not raise the chosen statistic to higher than 14. This also cannot reduce the chosen statistic to lower than 6. This may be done twice. During the entire character creation process, no statistic may ever be above 16. If it becomes higher than 16, immediately reduce it to 16. Now, when it comes to gazing upon the Herald's constellation, if the squadron decides not to observe Fate's influence, then they may instead gaze upon the Herald's constellation, receiving the Herald's array for their statistics. Additionally, each player may choose to reduce one statistic by 2 and add those 2 points to another statistic. This may not raise the chosen statistic to higher than 14. This also cannot reduce the chosen statistic to lower than 6. This may be done twice. During the entire character creation process, no statistic may ever be above 16. If it becomes higher than 16, it is immediately, of course, reduced to 16. If you find this process a bit confusing, don't worry. You only need to follow the example of the well-explained diagram. Now, when it comes to the statistics themselves, they are pretty self-explanatory. They are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. This is quite typical of any D20 based system. So statistics determine how wise you are, how strong you are, how dexterous you are, etc. The only criticism that I have for this section is that they use the most mainstream, real-life NPC examples that you can imagine. Politicians and Hollywood actors. The last thing that I want to see in an anime, manga, video game inspired tabletop RPG are any of those people that belong to various groups and mafias. Please use examples about anime, manga, video games. Even if you cannot mention the names directly, make some references to, oh, you are as strong as that typical character in anime that can bend bars and beat up punks. Oh, you are as wise as the typical anime sage or scholar or wizard, or things like that. It is very much in theme with the game. Next, we have details on proficiency. Proficiency is a bonus that you apply to things in which you are proficient in. So it would apply to attack rolls, to spell attack rolls, to spell difficulty checks, etc. Anything related to your areas of expertise, your skills, and whatnot. So very easy to understand. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to continue with the character creation process, featuring the student persona. I really like the character creation process, like I said. It feels like a gamble, or they can play it safe as well. But you create that team synergy from character creation, and that is so cool. But again, terrible examples. Use examples related to anime, manga, and video games, please. It's very much in theme with the game. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. This has been Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. If you want me to run a game for you, please check out the pinned comment below. And remember, roleplay solves everything. Once again, thank you, and see you later.